Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our Q&A on digital dilemma. This is a one-day online course on social media called Digital Dilemma, the good, the bad and ugly of social media. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, so I'm drinking my lemsip here with honey, of course. So inshallah I'll be fine to teach the course. Today I just want to kind of quickly just go over some of the content that I'll be covering, and if there's any questions anyone has got, please you can ask about the course. So the story behind the reason for me putting it together, well, as you know, Islam is supposed to govern every aspect of our life, and everything that we do has an effect. In fact, I was having a discussion earlier on today about the type of courses that people want to do, and spirituality was mentioned, or disease of the heart, and everything that we do in life, our work, how we interact with our families, everything that we do from morning to evening has an effect on the heart. So if people want spirituality, if people want a sound heart, then you have to examine every aspect of our life. And because social media is and has become such a big part of our lives, I'm on Instagram Live right now, which shows that I'm using social media as well. It just shows you how we have evolved in terms of how we communicate with one another, how we interact. And so because it's become such a big part of our lives, it's very common to be scrolling from the morning to the evening. You're looking at emails, you're looking at feed, you're looking at all sorts of things. So everything that we're doing has an impact on our lives and our well-being. And if we're interested in improving ourselves, improving our well-being, we have to examine that. So this was the idea that such a huge part of our lives, it doesn't make any sense that we're not talking about it, we're not discussing it. And even though some of it is stuff that maybe is, we know about it, but sometimes we put it at the back of our minds and don't realise how important it is. It's a bit like when people come for marriage counselling, certain things that they're focusing on, they don't realise that it's actually really important. And sometimes they're focusing, maybe the arguments or something are on like petty issues, which are not big in the grand, they're not in the grand scheme of things very big in terms of how it's impacting them. So this is just really to refocus ourselves, like that camera. You're just refocusing it so that we can see things a bit better. And then obviously everyone has to take that information and do whatever they feel is appropriate for them. So in the course I want to look at just a little history of the internet itself, and phones, because I think sometimes we forget how quickly things have evolved and how quickly things are evolving. That's one of the things I'll be looking at, like where's this trajectory going, where's it going in the future, especially with AI, artificial intelligence, where's it going? Because we have to be, you don't want to be playing catch up. I was just reading a stat today, actually, just preparing the course, that over 63% of the world's population, which is over the age of 13, is on social media. So going forward, this is going to be a massive part in the next generation's life. It already is, but it'll be even bigger. So just looking at the kind of timeline of social media, this aspect of data, how social media companies use our data. There's this famous line that data is more valuable than oil. So back in 2017, they kind of coined this phrase that data had become more valuable than oil. So our data is getting used, getting shared. I'm sure we've all had instances where we're talking about a certain topic and you go home and lo and behold there's an ad on that very topic, which makes people think of their phone spying on them. And then obviously there are very good uses of it. that we've seen, especially with the Gaza situation. It allowed the Palestinians to get their narrative out. What's happening in Pakistan right now with Imran Khan, the oppression he's under, mainstream media, he can't use it, but so what's he been doing? He's been using his social media to get his message out to primarily a younger audience. So we do see good uses of it in terms of trying to get the truth out. But at the same time, there's a lot of fake news, and we saw the apparent some of the stuff that's coming out there is really propaganda. A lot of fake stuff getting spread, fake images as well. So we have to be kind of wary of fakery, especially when it's to do with news. And at the end of time, in fact, falsehood will become blurred with truth, and that's one of the signs of the time, at the end of time. So we have to be wary of that as well, and we can actually get an idea of how that will happen, how people will become confused at the end of time between what is real and what is not, and then just the impact it has on people's day-to-day well-being, just their mental state. Obviously, especially with teenage girls, this we've seen this phenomena of body image, this trying to imitate the images that they're seeing. It really impacts especially teenage girls. So that's something we want to talk about as well. Mental health is an obvious one. If how it's impacting a person's life, and then also how, it's very important to always know what we're dealing with. So if I'm dealing with a company, for example, I want to know, well, how does that company work? What are they investing my money in? You want to know exactly what you're involved in. Similarly, with social media, you need to know how do these things work? How do these gadgets that we're using, these apps, how are they actually working? So this idea of just being aware that we're often getting manipulated, or there's a manipulation process in there to get us to do certain things, which is usually to buy products. So that's important for us to at least be aware of it. And then the whole culture, the new culture of selfies. This was a word which was added to the dictionary. It didn't exist. A number of years ago it was added. So that then we have to tie that into narcissism. How does that contribute to narcissism? And that's become a new buzzword, narcissist. So that needs a bit of explanation as well. And also how it relates to relationships in particular. We've seen with married couples, I see it anyway, how interactions in social media affects their relationships. So that's another aspect we want to also look at. And then this idea of likes, as you know, a couple of years ago even Instagram wanted to remove likes because they saw how it was impacting people. So this idea of likes, and when we post things, we're eager to see how many people have engaged with our posts, getting followers, we're looking at how many followers they've got. So we really need to examine that whole idea of praise and criticism that we have in our tradition. What does our tradition say about praise, looking for praise, criticism? All of that is extremely important because that has a direct impact on the heart, and if it has a direct impact on the heart, it has a direct impact on our eternal life or next life. I'm sure all of us get lost from time to time, and maybe more often than we should, just in scrolling, and so what does that do to our, again, what's that doing to us, this idea of just scrolling endlessly? the human brain is already easily distracted by its nature, but this this gets us distracted even more. It's very easy to get distracted, and then just like things that we're doing maybe innocently, not thinking about. So people putting up their children's pictures mean, there's one thing sharing it on WhatsApp with your own family, but then putting it on public domain where these pictures are up. When those pictures are up, all sorts of people can be looking at those pictures. Then there's this idea of nazar, of evil eye, which is extremely important. We need to discuss that. And also what can be done with those pictures. I did a little clip earlier on, I think yesterday, just about how people who are paedophiles or people who have got sick nature, they can take pictures. So they can take your picture. You could be fully clothed in that picture, and they can put it into AI and basically remove all your clothes. And you can imagine what kind of things people end up doing. And there's been cases where this is what's been happening. So we have to be aware of that. Then also just touching upon things for younger people, cyberbullying, how that works, and revenge porn, which is also a phenomenon now. And then some of the signs of the last time, that towards the end of time, what are the kind of signs that we will see, and how does that tie in with what we're seeing actually already in social media, and it can give us an idea of things to come in the future, especially when we have like the Dajjal that will come at the end of time. So we'll touch upon that as well, inshallah, and we'll discuss it as a class. I'll pose a number of questions to the class, so I want to get people's ideas, what they think, how they view things, because it is such a big part of our lives. That what do we do now? How do we go forward with this? And inshallah, I think hopefully by the end of the day, the end of the class, we'll have come up with what we think is a balanced way, a healthy way